It's welcome back to Karen McMillan and Amilla Mackenzie Brown from NZ Book Lovers, who have 3 books to recommend as gifts for Father's Day, because it's only about a week and a bit away, and the chance for you to win them as well. Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Lovely to have you here. I love chatting books. Karen, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about Whatever It Takes by Paul Cleave.
So Paul Cleave is a very successful award-winning New Zealand crime writer. So he's had his books translated to 20 languages, which is amazing, and more than 1 million books have been sold. So this is his 11th book, Whatever It Takes.
Right, so usually Paul Cleave actually sets his books in his hometown of Christchurch, but this one is a little bit different, isn't it?
Yes, it's set in this remote US town, and when I read the book I thought, yes, I can see why he's done that. He hasn't set it in his hometown of Christchurch because it needs to be in a remote town for the plot line.
It's funny, isn't it, when you think about that and think of the research that must go into doing that and putting it into a different land, a different country.
And I think he's done that really well because the language changes a little bit, you know, and terminology, and you know, there's all these little details that he's really nailed.
So what's it actually about?
So this one opens with a detective, Noah Harper, and he's interrogating the suspect, and it's a case of a missing 7-year-old girl. So he's really wanting to get her back, but he really crosses all the lines when he's in the interrogation, doing things that police officers should not be doing. He rescues the girl, but he loses his job because of his actions. He loses his wife, and he's booted out of town. And they say to him, if you ever come back, we're going to throw you into jail.
So what happens after that?
Well, the novel picks up 12 years later. So Noah at this point owns a bar, and he's in this, you know, different city, and he's got a different life. But then his ex-wife calls him and says, this young girl that you rescued all those years ago, she's gone missing again. So he decides to go back to the town and find her, whatever it takes. And because he does that, he's got to go back and confront his past. And at the same time, the reader finds out that this current situation is linked to that original case.
I can almost see the mini-series from this already. You can sort of visualise it, can't you?
It kind of gives you goosebumps, doesn't it?
So what did you think of it?
I thought it was really good. Like, it's a really tense thriller. Like, it's palpable tension. Noah is a character you really care for and cheer for. It's a visceral read, though, so just to flag up for gentle readers, there is violence in this book, but it's a thrilling read that is just really well done.
Gentle readers, I like that term. Miller, what did you think?
It sounds a bit scary and not a book for kids, but I think my dad would quite like it.
Yes, I think your dad would probably love it, but I'm glad you didn't read it, actually, because that would concern me slightly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Veg by Jamie Oliver.
Yes, so the new cookbook here, it doesn't have any meat in it. You know, you can tell by the title. So Jamie, that isn't it?
Yeah.
So Jamie Oliver is trying to get people switched onto the idea that veggies can be comfort food and really tasty. Then all these recipes are easy to cook and they're accessible and affordable. So that's the idea behind this. So obviously a perfect gift for someone who's vegetarian, but I think more and more of us are having meat-free meals, so perfect for anyone, really.
It would actually go with the book that I've got at home, which is a cookbook which is entitled Meat. Like Hugh Fernie.
Oh yes, it's beautiful with the navy cover.
Yes, it's huge. I've got that one, but this sounds
Actually,
really good.
If it's side by side, it would look good,
It would
wouldn't
look really good. So what are the recipes like then?
So we've chosen a few, haven't we?
Yeah.
Go first?
So I think my dad would like the angry bean salad. It only takes 20 minutes to create, and it's a fun combination with fresh chilies and mozzarella cheese.
Oh, that looks delicious. Look at that on screen.
Yeah.
Yum.
So I thought you couldn't go past the brilliant Baja burger. So I think even the most meat-loving of men would like this. The patties aren't made of meat. They're made of squash and cheese and herbs and spices. And Jamie has this really special sauce he puts with them. You put it together with a bun and voila.
Oh, it's all about the sauce, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
delicious as well.
I think my dad would also like the Mediterranean vegetable rice. Super colourful, filled with veggies, and it tastes great too.
That's beautiful, but when I'm making that, can you think that I'll have the time and the inclination to do those beautiful designs on it? Probably not. Bung them all over, it tastes really good too.
Well, maybe
wouldn't
this is inspirational, you know,
Yeah.
and it's what matters is it actually tastes good.
it? Inspirational and aspirational.
Yeah. So I thought the other one was the allotment cottage pie. So it doesn't have meat. It's got, what has it got? It's mushrooms, it's got leeks, it's got swedes, it's got lentils. That's kind of the secret recipe there. And my husband actually cooked it in the weekend. And we thought it was really tasty. It's like it's perfect comfort food for this time of the year.
Oh, yum. I'm just looking through now. Courgette and feta scones. I think that might be one of my faves right there.
Oh, yeah.
That looks good.
Oh, I'm getting hungry now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what's the verdict of the book then, guys?
Oh, delicious food.
It's also really good for you.
Yeah, that's good to know. Now, the next book we have is called The Shearers by Ruth Entwistle Lowe.
Yeah, so this takes us up close with the shearers around New Zealand. So they reflect on the ups and downs of their jobs. Now, look, I'm a city girl, but my granddad had a sheep farm in Dannyburg. And this book really takes me back to my childhood, of days on the farm and everything that went on there. So.
Sounds really cool. And I see it's written by Ruth Entwistle-Lowe and photography by Mark Lowe.
Yes, so Ruth specialises in a lot of oral history, so she specialises in this kind of personal book.
It looks like that might be a relative who took the photos as well. Might be wrong.
That I don't know.
Now tell us about some of the people that are featured in the book.
Yeah, we've picked a few,
Yeah.
haven't we?
So I like Sarah Higgins. She's only 26 years old and she's travelled around New Zealand, Germany and the UK with her work sharing.
Wow.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed Murray Grice, who's 85 years old, and he looks back very proudly on his time on the terrace station in the 1950s as a shearer. So this is a lovely slice of the past.
Miller, you got another one?
Yep, and Robertson, she cooks for more than 100 people every day. Such an important job to keep all the shearers well fed.
Imagine that job.
That would
Yeah.
be and you'd have to be really good at it, and you'd have to
Yeah.
keep them really well fed because they'd be hungry.
Like, I can't even cook for one person. Imagine cooking for 100.
Yeah, too. And you got another highlight?
I do. So Brian Snow Quinn, he won 6 golden shears in the 1960s and 70s. By all accounts, he was a really humble man, but he had a song written about him, and he had a racehorse named after him. So seriously, a famous shearer, you know?
That is really, really cool. So what do you think then? What do you think about the book overall?
I think it's a really wonderful, shearers from past and present, so I'm pleased they've got that range. And also just a really insightful slice of life of the farming community here in New Zealand, which is really, really lovely.
A perfect gift for dads, especially if they live in the country. So.
Excellent. And a lot of
Yeah.
dads really like to read non-fiction books too.
They do, absolutely.
Beautiful
So I
pictures
think
of
we've
it
got
too.
3 really good picks there for
Yeah,
Father's Day.
very diverse as well. I like it. Hey, thank you both so much.
Thank
Always a
you.
pleasure, Karen Miller, having you here. And some really good gift ideas too for Dad. And you can get the full book reviews at nzbooklovers.co.nz or purchase online at mighty8.com.nz, where you'll find heaps more gift ideas as well.